What's it like to travel with a GMRS radio? That's what we're going to find out today. I've got that 15 watt Midland GMRS radio. I did a video a couple months back where I mounted it in an ammo can so I could move it from vehicle to vehicle, and that's worked out great. But I took that radio out of the ammo can and I expertly installed it into my 4Runner. What I did is I mounted the radio part underneath the seat, and I've got the microphone run up here, and I didn't mount it. I just have it draped over the center console for now. And then I'm powering it at this 12 volt power point here. So having only been using GMRS for 6 months, maybe a year at this point, I don't typically use it often. Maybe if we take the Jeeps out, or we don't use it much. But I remember when I was a kid, we used to have a CB radio in the car. So we're going to try this out and see what happens if you have a GMRS radio in your car while you're traveling. Is there a benefit? Is there any value in it at all, or is it just a plain old nuisance? Around here, the GMRS radio doesn't talk very much. I mean, there's a couple old guys that just keep talking, like, you know, they're sitting at a bar somewhere, they're talking about sports, they're talking about politics, they do that type of thing. But typically, there's really not a lot going on the GMRS frequency. So I just want to see what it's like to travel with a GMRS radio and if there's any value to it. It's going to be about an hour before we get to a highway. We're going to monitor all the GMRS frequencies, and then once we get to I-90, I think we'll probably scan, but supposedly channel 19 is the one you use for traveling, so we'll pay close attention to what's going on channel 19, if anything. Alright, we're about an hour and a half, 2 hours into this trip with this GMRS radio. The only thing we've heard so far is some low power stuff, so channels 1, 2, and 5, I think it was. We heard a supermarket talking about restocking shelves, but we haven't heard anything on the highway, and we just passed a rest area that had a truck inspection. Troopers were there doing inspections, and nothing on this radio. So apparently truck drivers aren't using this radio much. They're still using CBs, I'm guessing, so I'm not sure, but nothing so far on this GMRS radio. It's been another hour. Nothing on the old GMRS radio. We got cake pops though from Starbucks, so that's a good thing. WROP 867. Anybody traveling I-90 westbound?
That was good. What do you mean we don't have any friends?
I don't have any friends. We just heard somebody, but I think he was on a repeater. Let's see it. That was on channel 16. Let's go up to channel 19.
WROP 867.
WROP 867.
530.
Anybody traveling I-90 westbound?
This is boring.
Alright, we got nothing on channel 16, even though we heard somebody talking that they were on their way back from Pennsylvania. But I think they're on a repeater of some sort, and I just don't know what that is. I'll have to look online and see if I can find the repeater when I'm not driving. So far, GMRS for traveling is a bit of a bust. tried this a couple of different times, a couple of different channels. Haven't had much success here. That was on channel 20. If you go on the internet and you start searching around, it tells you channel 19 or channel 20 is the preferred channel for traveling on the highway, but we ain't heard nothing. So let's try channel 19. WROP 867 I-90 eastbound. Anybody out? Alright, well, there's a couple things that we learned about our GMRS radio. One, nobody's using them to travel. Two, I don't even know what number 2 is. So we have traveled. We are finishing up a 600-mile road trip, and we've heard people talk. We've heard what sounded like supermarkets talking. We've heard maybe commercial traffic. I think there was one distribution center that we heard talking about loading trucks. We heard some kids playing with the radio. We haven't heard anything about traveling on the highway. So it's clear that GMRS radio is not overtaking CB radio when it comes to traveling on the highway. GMRS seems to be purpose-built, where if you're doing things with others like family members or somebody, maybe you're traveling in a group of a couple of vehicles, GMRS is most likely the way everybody's communicating. If you're going out with your Jeep, GMRS radio seems to be good. If you're RVing and you've got a couple of RVs in your convoy or whatever, GMRS is probably the thing to do. But if you're just driving, and we're finishing up 600 miles on I-90, so it's a pretty popular route. If you're just traveling and you got a GMRS radio in your car, don't expect to hear a lot, and don't expect to be able to talk to a lot of people. At least that's been our experience. Now, when you go out west, maybe it's better. What we have found for this trip is GMRS doesn't serve much of a purpose when it comes to traveling. So it's kind of a letdown, but at least now you know, and we tried it, so now you don't have to. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching.